but now it's time to talk about the WWE world. And my friend, we talked about this last week. Speaking of guys that are tacked onto a build, let's go on to one of the biggest builds in WWE. It's Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. It's finally happening in 6 months build for this. An entertaining build. It's not a Solo Sikoa build. It's an entertaining build. But 6 months in the making, we're getting this. And Seth, as we said, was tacked on at the very end. And now he is special guest referee, which, hey, I like it for the build. Not going to lie to you. I think it makes sense for the build. Hate it for Seth. Hate it for Seth. Seth is another guy that isn't exactly the youngest man in the room. If you have a SummerSlam and he's healthy, he should have a feud and a match on the card. What do you think about this?
I think that there's something like this is Punk's first match back. So this, and then Seth Rollins has only had one match since he returned from injury, the torn meniscus. I think this is like a 10-minute, and then there's a big screw job finish happening here is my prediction to extend this feud. But I agree with your overall point. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk was supposed to happen at WrestleMania. Injuries prevented it. Now it just feels like tacked on. Like we're just throwing Seth Rollins in there. This is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. This has been 6 months of hatred. Just CM Punk costing Drew McIntyre over and over every time he tries to cash in. So and win the world title. So yeah, I don't like Seth Rollins really in this spot. But the only reason I can think that they're doing this is because Seth Rollins is not healthy and they want him on the show, and they have plans for Seth Rollins and CM Punk at next year's WrestleMania or whenever. But I agree, Seth Rollins, if at all healthy, he wasn't healthy at night one at WrestleMania. He put on a damn good match against Drew McIntyre, so I wouldn't mind seeing him wrestle if he can wrestle at all at SummerSlam too. But I guess they're just going to have him be the referee. I don't understand it really either, but I'm just excited for this match is finally happening after waiting for it for 6 months. I thought CM Punk was never going to return to the ring.
But that's what you're alluding to, though. You're so happy it's finally happening. It doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. As you said, it's going to be a screw job finish. We're not going to get a finish. We're going to keep kicking the can down the line. I get that. That's wrestling.
They got me though. This is a feud. They got me. This is a feud where they got me. Like where they got me though. Like this is one where like I can live with a 10-minute. Okay, you're gonna give me something huge in a couple months again. Like that is the wrestling business. You don't always have to do an hour match every week on free television. So both companies can maybe find a middle ground. We'll be banging on all cylinders there, but.
It's interesting to me. Like, speaking of Hangman and Swerve having potentially genuine dislike for each other, and it looks like they do. We've pretty much shown that Seth Rollins. I mean, Drew McIntyre could be all kayfabe, but Seth Rollins has pretty much been honest about his dislike for CM Punk in real life, and they're playing nice. They're pushing this forward, but imagine. It's one thing to say, like, hey, we know you don't like the guy, but we're signing him. You're going to face him at WrestleMania, big blow off. It's going to sell tickets. That's different. And then suddenly he gets injured to now, like, hey, you're technically going to be in a feud for this guy for about 15 months. From the moment he comes back, he gets injured. You're kind of ancillary, and then you're back in the storyline for another 6-month build, tagging on to it. Like Seth Rollins and CM Punk have been in each other's lives now for going to be over a year. If we're going to extend this, as you said, to the next WrestleMania,
I think they have to.
That's a tough pill to swallow if you're Seth Rollins. Like, if you truly dislike the man, like 3 months versus 15 months is a tough pill to swallow.
Here's all I'll say. I agree with you for the most part, but the one thing I'll say about CM Punk, he brings out the best in people in their promos. I think Seth Rollins has been his best on promos just because he hates CM Punk so much. He doesn't do the cackles. He just tells it like it is. And I think he's bringing CM Punk for, if you think the feud is too long or whatever, I kind of agree, but I think we're seeing the best version of Seth Rollins when it comes to his character work and promos that we've seen in a long time. There's a positive to that.